Good evening and welcome to the Monday, May 18th East China School District Regular Board of Education meeting. We'd like to begin with a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Thank you. So the first item on our agenda is items of interest, recognition, and inquiry. Board of Education members, does anybody have anything? No? Okay, well, I have a couple of things. I'd just like to remind everybody that Marine City High School and St. Clair High School are still having the breakfast and lunch pickups on Wednesday from 11 to 1. That's a full week of meals, breakfast and lunch. I would also like to just let everybody know that during this COVID-19 crisis, any students dealing with financial hardship, anyone worried about school, unemployment, struggling with feelings of anxiety, depression, hopelessness, any other complex emotions related to COVID-19 or anything else, we have support for you. You can contact a COVID-19 support line at 810-985-8900, or you can text 810-956-6335. Please don't feel like you're alone through all of this. Mrs. Cybula, do you have anything?
Yes, I would just like to continue to thank our families and our teachers and administration as they put in place our continuity of learning plan and connect with our students and reach out to them in the best way that they can, given the situation that we're under with COVID-19. I know it's not easy. It isn't easy for anyone, but our families are doing a good job and our teachers are as well. So thank you.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. A motion is needed for the approval of minutes from our regular Board of Education meeting on April 27th, the approval of the payment of bills, financial statement, and schedule of investments.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Our next item is recognition of persons wishing to address the board, and I've been notified that we do not have anybody this evening that wants to address the board, so we will move on down to our information and discussion items. The first item on that is RESA budget proposal for 2020 to 21, and Dr. Kevin Miller is here to report on that. Miller.
Thank you, Mrs. Franken. Thank you for having me once again. Believe it or not, this is my fourth year as superintendent with the budget, and if you count the one I did with Mr. DeGrow the last year before he left, budget number 5. So hard to believe that that's the case. But just some general comments about our budget, and then I'll go over each of some bullet points of each of our 3 budgets for you as well. As you know, RESA has 3 different budgets: the general fund, special ed, and vocational ed. They're all supported differently. Property taxes are the main force behind both our vocational education budget and our special ed budget, whereas state aid is behind our general fund budget primarily. Property taxes for special ed, by the way, are nearly 80%. Vocational ed, almost 80% of our budget and nearly 50% of our special ed budget. We've seen a significant decrease in interest income, as you might imagine, during the current economic crisis. But the good thing as far as property taxes is based on the past year, an increase of 3.5% for this next year. So 2 of our budgets are going to be fine. The one that we're most concerned about, as you are, is the general fund budget, where we expect to see between a 10 and 20% decrease in funding for the upcoming year. Moving on to the general fund budget, we've added an elementary language arts consultant, which is grant funded. I'm assuming that goes forward, but we'll make sure that that's going to happen. But that's 100% funded by a state grant. We've got it in place for the coming year. Whether it goes beyond that is your guess is as good as mine. We've also, for the last 4 years, have eliminated 3 administrative and 1 administrative assistant position. So we've saved our general fund budget about $450,000. We've got another retirement that I've also been made aware of for the middle of this fiscal year. So we will not replace that position as well. That'll be another $120,000 or so in savings as well. And one thing I'm proud of in the general fund budget, which helps out our local districts, is we've reduced our IT data fees to the lowest point in 20 years. And the last 2 years, we've been able to reduce those. We expect that we'll be able to reduce those again this coming year for districts as well. One of the reasons behind that is we have really strive to look at alternative options to get our internet that we provide for all of our local districts. And when I took over at RISA 4 years ago, we were still paying between $2.50 and $3 a gig for internet, and now we're going to be paying this year 14 cents. So that is a tremendous savings, and that's because of the work we've done on a network to attach to an internet matrix down in Southfield, Michigan. From the special ed perspective, we've added 2 additional behavior intervention specialists, and we're spending well over $1 million now in that department. That department did not exist 10 years ago, and even 2 years ago, that's a 133% increase over the last 2 years. We've added a teacher consultant for the hearing impaired at no cost to our locals. And by the way, all that behavior, that over $1 million, there's no cost to our local districts for that as well. And Public Act 18 dollars, we've increased from 4 years ago to today. We've increased by more than $1 million to our locals each year, increase over the 4 years. We'll continue that level of funding for the next year. And finally, career and technical education, or our tech budget, vocational education budget. We feel the best thing we can do during this tough budget time upcoming for our local districts is to either maintain the number of tech slots or seats that we have. We're not only going to do that, we're going to increase that by 96 seats this fall. We've added another section of computer programming at 48 seats. We had over 60 on our waiting list for that. And then we're adding another section of information technology. We're planning to do cybersecurity, which is a huge need statewide and nationally for jobs. That will have 48 seats as well, so an additional 96 seats. So percentage-wise, we are by far and away the highest percentage of high school students coming to tech that there's ever been. So we're real proud of that, and we'll try to keep that going as long as we can, if not all the way through what we expect to be, if not a recession, a depression coming up as well. So I'll cut my comments off at that. That's just kind of a bullet point overview. Happy to entertain any questions or comments, not only about our budget, but anything else related to RISA or anything else related to the upcoming school year. I'm happy to entertain any questions you have.
I just have, sorry. Oh, I have one comment. I had gone to the tour that they provided earlier in the year, and the programs that the RISA has are amazing. To see those little houses that they're building, to see the auto body, the welding, the young man who spoke about welding was so proud of his work, and the programs were just amazing. I was really, really excited when I left.
Well, thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. And that's why we did it. That night. It allowed our board members who were there to see that, and we're really proud of what they do. Great connections made by our staff with our students. So thank you for those positive words. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Anybody
As you
else?
might imagine, it's tough to do construction trades at a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job on the tech program, the increase in student support. I think that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is PA 152 of 2011 resolution. Mrs. Tina Tripp.
Well, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. In 2011, Public Act 152, it created a new law that limits the amount public employers pay towards employee medical benefit plans. And this was beginning for January 1st, 2012. So there is a default annual limit, or it is more commonly known as hard caps. It's set by the state treasurer, and it's updated for inflation each year. An employer can accept hard cap limits, or they can elect for 80-20 contribution, 80% obviously for the employer portion and 20% for the employee. So currently for 2020, the hard cap amount for a single person, and I'm going to round these numbers up, $6,819 for the hard cap, where the district is paying at 80% for a single at $5,742. The difference between them is $1,076. The hard cap amount for a two-person, $14,260, and the district is paying at 80% for a two-person, $12,903 for a difference of $1,358. The hard cap amount for a family plan, $18,597 an employer is allowed to pay, where the district is paying at 80%, $16,053 with a difference of $2,544. Now, the district has chosen the 80-20 selection since 2012. And if we maintain that same election, we would save over $400,000 for this annual election. So the administration recommends that you maintain that 80-20 election for PA requirements for 2020. Is there any questions regarding that information? Okay.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. And I guess you're up next with the food service contract.
Yes. So as required by the MDE, school districts must submit a formal RFP for food service management company services every 5 years. And this process was conducted last spring, which resulted in a contract award to Chartwells with an effective date of 7/1/2019. Then following the initial contract year, the MDE allows for 4 additional 1-year renewals. So this is our first of the allowed 4-year renewals. The contract that we hold with Chartwells, it is referred to as a reimbursable contract, meaning the district reimburses Chartwells for the costs that they incur, salaries, benefits, food, other consumables, plus a flat administrative fee. And for the contract term, this administrative fee is scheduled for a 2% annual increase. So along with the information that was given to you with the board agenda, I've given you a little bit, it's just an outline of the contract, of the different components of it. And one of the items listed on there is the management fee per meal. And what this is, it's applying the flat administrative fee over the volume of meals to be shared. So it breaks it down what the fee would cost per meal. And this is the same 2% as I previously spoke about in the flat administrative rate. They're showing the CPI, CPIU. For December 2019, it's reflecting an increase of 3.1%. So basically, we can expect direct costs to increase by this amount because it is a reimbursable contract. They also list on this sheet is something called the equivalent meal factor, where this is applying a unit of measure to the total cost per meal. And the total cost include the cost of food, labor, management fee, meal packaging, and other costs that are directly related to the meal. So basically, This is summarizing any significant contract changes, and administration is recommending that the board approves this one-year renewal with Chartwell's with an effective date of July 1, 2020.
Okay.
Is there any questions on that information? It's pretty standard, I know, but.
And I believe that Julie, the food service director from Chartwell's, is on the meeting as well. So if you have any questions for her, she's available.
I have one. What's happening with Chartwell's now that no kids are in school?
We're still feeding. We are the ones doing the meals for breakfast and lunch for the 7 days. So
Okay.
partial
I didn't know
of
if
the
that
staff
was
is
you
currently
or-
working.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Anybody have any other questions? Okay, so we'll move on to 5D, wage reopener provision of the existing collective bargaining agreement for Teamster Local 214 and SEIU Local 517M. Mrs. Dawn Dimick.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to update you on two of our contracts that do expire June 30th. I will talk about the bus drivers first. That is actually, we do have a settled agreement with them, but within their contract, they had a wage reopener provision that we would be negotiating this summer. And then in regards to the custodians, which is the SEIU union, their contract is scheduled to expire June 30th. With both of those unions, we have reached a tentative agreement in which we would extend the existing terms of the contract through December 31st. So there would be no changes until that time. We've agreed we would start negotiations October 1st, at which time we're hoping to have a better understanding and a better feel of where we will be financially given the COVID-19 pandemic and the financial considerations involved with that. So we are recommending that the board extend the existing agreement until December 31st, 2020, and we will start negotiations prior to that. And then we would come back to you once we had an alternate agreement provided for. And if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer those.
Dawn, will
Yes.
that also line those contracts up with the start of insurance years?
It will actually. We will have to determine what the terms of the contract will be once we do that negotiation though. So this is only extending it till December 31st of this year. And then as part of the negotiations, we would determine the term from that point forward.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Don, what other contracts are expiring on June 30th? Are there others besides those two?
The secretarial contract also expires June 30th.
I'm sorry, Dawn, could you repeat that? I couldn't understand you.
The secretarial contract expires on June 30th as well.
Okay, thank you.
When is the teacher contract go through at this point?
End of August. So the teachers and the administrators expire August 26th of 2020.
Any other questions? Okay, so then we'll move on to E, Ms. Dybula, student handbook.
I just wanted to make note that normally at our May meeting, we would be presenting the handbooks for elementary, middle, and high school. But due to the COVID-19 emergency, we're going to wait on any adjustments to any of our handbooks until we have a better idea of what our expectations will be for the 2020-2021 school year. And we're hoping to have those handbooks presented at the June meeting.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there could be some pretty significant changes coming up.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have any other comments or questions about the student handbooks? Okay, we'll move on to our board action items. For this evening, we have two. The first one is the approval of the RESA budget resolution for 2021. I'll read that real quick. Per administration's recommendation, the Board of Education approved the budget resolution, indicating that you have reviewed and support the St. Clair County RESA budget for 2020 to 21. Motion is needed.
So moved.
Support.
Are there any comments or questions regarding the budget?
Jeannie, do we have to do a roll call vote with these?
No.
Nope, okay.
Okay, so all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that motion carries. Our next motion is regarding our budget approval of our original 2020-21 budget. That motion, I'll read real quick. Per administration recommendation, the Board of Education approves a one-year renew with Chartwells for a food service management company for the 2020-21 fiscal year. Motion is needed.
So moved.
Support.
Thank
I
you.
supported.
Are there any comments or questions about the Chartwells budget? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that motion also carries. So our next meeting, we will be going over our 2019-20 budget final revision and our 2020-21 original budget. And at this time, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you.